Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and thank you for joining another scene for Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. This scene will start on the meat side of things, meaning that it's in the Tellurian. Um, Erik Skovgard, the Get Fenris of the Sept of the Green, is pretty sweaty right now. He's spent most of his morning and most of the afternoon getting a good workout in, one that he get some of that stress and that rage out, being an Arun. And needless to say, it's quite warm outside with it being spring and like pseudo summer. So Erik is actually doing the whole kind of like zombie walk where you kind of walk where you're going, but you only know you're going that way because it's kind of just like ingrained. So it just becomes second nature. Almost like you're driving in your car and you don't know how you got to work that day. Same thing. And he has a towel over his head. It's just laying over his head, soaking up the sweat. And as he gets to his cabin, he doesn't really see anything because his hair is just messy and stringy all over his face. And with the towel, he kind of just wipes at his face, get all the yuckiness off him, the grime and the grit, and kind of just stops at his porch. And when he's there, that's when he'll spot a particular familiar face, one that he's not seen since his departure. And that's where we'll begin our scene.
Indeed. Jacob is in fact on the Fenrir porch, knocking the hell out of Eric's door. Not actually breaking it down, just knocking on it as like a normal person.
Not giving the cop knock.
He's not. It is. It's some hard knocking, but not quite. He's almost there. Almost like he's running out of patience and will start to do so at a given time. Give him a few seconds and he might. But he appears to be less than happy that he's having to stand here knocking on the door.
Yeah, and
he's not wearing his uniform as in the overlay. He's just wearing like his dedicated shirt and jeans and shoes.
Gotcha. Erik kind of takes the towel again. He's really wiping off his face and kind of just scrubbing all over, so he doesn't really see. And he's just like, "Aye, what's with all the racket? I'm right here. What do you want?" And he kind of stops and looks up through the strands of hair and the towel, and he kind of just mutters to himself. He's like, "Oh shit." Oh, Jacob. What can I do you for? And you can tell his voice becomes kind of flat. Not like that not like defeatedly, but more like he's trying to remain calm.
His head kind of turns when he hears Eric's voice. It's a bit annoyed they just spent all that time knocking there for nothing. A sort of terseness to Jacob's face, a bit like Erik. There's this sort of tension that just lies in the air. Jacob looks very flat, trying to maintain composed. Just says, "We need to talk."
I imagine we do. Can I get you a drink?
I'll just have some black tea, thank you.
I don't have any tea, man. I got water and I got alcohol.
Fuck's sake. I'll just have a water.
And he kind of like steps on the porch and walks past him, opens the door, and kind of looks at him for a second, kind of gives him the nod to kind of like head in. And the cabin itself has like basic amenities: shower, stove, kitchen, refrigerator. Like it's like small. It's all small. It's nothing fancy. Um, there's a bed. There's like an entertainment system. There's like some kind of recliner or some shit. And Eric will on the shelf just grab two tumblers and just pour some water from the spigot. One for himself and one for Jacob. And he'll bring it to his lips and hold it out to Jacob, kind of looking over the cup at him. Kind of just waits for him to do whatever he wants, if he wants to sit down or what have you.
He'll take a seat on one of the chairs. Probably one of the ones that looks more like a guest chair. If there's like a recliner chair towards the entertainment system, you probably avoid that because he assumes it's for the person that lives here or the host. So he takes one of the chairs that looks like it would be more off to the side, takes his drink and just takes a light sip of it.
And Eric will turn around and he will lean up against the cabinet and stand up straight as much as you can as you kind of lean, you know. His legs will actually cross, so he doesn't seem like he's too antagonistic at the moment. And he seems to be pretty open in his body language, anyways. Um, and he kind of just brushes at the top of his forehead at the skin there, and kind of just looks at him after a moment. What do you want to know, or what do you want to talk about?
Your departure was rather abrupt. It didn't come with an explanation, and I would be so inclined on behalf of the pack as to request some answers, which obviously, considering the terseness in his voice, comes across as "I'm going to get answers." As diplomatic as his words are arranged. He's clearly there's clearly a huge edge to his voice. He looks like he's trying to mask it, but not very well. He's clearly very, very pent up right now.
Gotcha. Eric will notice this, if you don't mind. Eric actually kind of relishes it a bit, almost kind of proud of Jacob. It's a brashness he's not really seen in Jacob before, like firsthand, like outside of maybe like combat or something. Um, but he sets the cup down and kind of goes to stroke out his chin and he nods. Yeah, it was. And let me tell you, many people have come to ask me about what happened. And I told them it's none of their business. But for you and the Striders, it's obviously only for you guys to know. It's our business. For a while now, for a long while, I've been hemorrhaging. I've been bleeding emotionally and kind of internally, in a sense. and I've been looking to see how to staunch that bleeding for a long time now. Because I just, as long as I've been in this pack, I've seen a lot of people come and go. And especially when it came to Aaron and Ping and Isaac, I just never healed. And I've been looking for a way to kind of just stop it. So I came to the conclusion after a while that I needed to talk to Reindeer himself. And I don't know about you, but have you ever loved something so much or you believed in something so much that maybe you would defy your parents or a loved one or maybe even, let's say, the gods themselves? That's that's how I felt in that moment. I needed answers from Reindeer. So after we got back from the Amazon, we took some time to get back and get our get our bearings straight. I went to the northern woods and I asked Reindeer to come to me. I wanted to know why I felt like he failed us. I feel like he wasn't there when we needed him the most, especially when it came to Aaron or Ping and Isaac. I've seen stories and tales of other people's totems coming to them in their time of need, but why not ours? I needed him to be there when it really truly mattered, not outside of these training sessions or these small altercations that don't really amount to anything. We, the Striders, or you guys, the Striders, were in the thick of things, like the hardest and most grueling of combat. But people died. So I asked him. Obviously, it wasn't the smart thing to do. It was really fucking stupid of me. And we got into it, not physically, but with words. And as things go, time went on. I lost my temper and I told him, why should I follow a prey totem? Especially after I've been so loyal and dedicated to him for so long. And that's when he told me to tell you guys goodbye. That I will not be a Strider anymore. And that's why I said what I said, and I was disconnected. And the funny thing is now, after what I said to him, and he said to me, and me being alone now, I finally realized who exactly is the prey. Me. I'm I'm mighty, yes, but alone, without a pack, I ain't shit. And he kind of just stops there and he just shakes his head. And his jaw kind of sets, and you can see that he visibly tenses, like his hands go back to kind of grip along the edge of the tabletop, the countertop, excuse me. And you can almost hear it kind of creak. I am so sorry, Jacob. I'm sorry that I couldn't fucking keep my mouth shut. But I needed to talk to him. I felt like that's what I needed to do. And I came out worse for it by my own doing. But all was in me. I just couldn't accept what's been going on.
There's a bit of Jacob looks a bit more sobered now, I think is a good way to put it. He doesn't look as furious anymore as the explanation's going on. He just says, sometimes everyone needs to do something that goes against their better judgment. You've owned your actions, which is more than I can say for most. What are you going to do now?
He kind of just shakes his head and shrugs. Right now, just going to take my time. I'm still not over leaving you guys yet. I want you guys to know that I loved you guys. I still do. I was very proud of y'all. I still am proud of y'all. And I'm just not ready to let go of that yet. And try to move on.
Thassa, when you left, we met, all three of us, to decide where to go from that point. And there was the suggestion that the Striders disband there. Although it was strongly requested that we didn't. But if there's one thing I point to as to why that was even brought up, and an apology I have to make towards you, is that I was not there when it mattered. And as a packmate, I should have been. And for that, I am truly sorry.
Erik approximates a small smile and just gives him a nod. Hey man, we've been busy. I should have known better. Things happen the way they happen. I had to take my ground and do it with it as I saw fit. I mean, that's basically what we do. That's what striders do, right? We stand our ground no matter what, even if it's facing our family or Reindeer himself.
We'll still make time for each other, though. That's something we're actually working on. We don't really see each other too much outside of combat missions.
That's true. That's where I failed as a leader, I believe. And I know it. I talked to Kailani about it. I told her that I wanted to be there for you guys. But it just didn't end up that way. And I apologize for that.
That's kind of another nod from Jacob. Seems it's hard to express acceptance just wordlessly, but he tries to do so. There's kind of like a slight kind of fading smile, or a brief one.
Will you tell them what happened so they're not clueless? I'm sure you will, but it probably doesn't even need to go. It needs to be asked, but it would make me feel better.
It's something they should know. I consider it my responsibility. I think the last thing they'd want to hear anyway is to say I showed up to his cabin and got knocked out before I even got any information out of you.
I guess you're saying that because you heard of the thing with Jacob, huh? Or not Jacob, Garrett.
Yeah. Was that because he asked what happened?
He tried to take me to task with it. Got really in my face, and again, I tried. I really try. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I tell them to stop. But you want to keep poking me. You want to poke the iron. All right. I don't feel good about what happened, but it happened. So the only people that really know are you, the rest of the Striders, and Garrett. And I would prefer it to stay that way.
If anyone asks, I'll just call it a closed issue.
Thank you. So what's next for you guys?
We found out where the vampire that took Aaron's life lives. We paid it a visit during the day. Has some sort of veil protecting aura around it. You stand near it too long and you kind of want to move away. It doesn't affect us enough to stop us from going in, but I can see how it'd affect the regular human.
Interesting.
As for Pain, we're still working on that, although I'm learning a gift that may be able to shed some more light on what happened. It's a Philodox gift. Spend enough time in meditation, the pieces start to come together on their own. You can learn the truth about damn near anything.
Well, that just seems fucking broken.
That's why I wish to learn it. I don't think it's so clear cut. You need to be in a certain place at a certain time, but
Okay,
it usually in a wild place.
that's fair.
Sunset, dawn, midday, something like that. I guess it's like a case of you need to be in a certain moment and a certain state of being, and then the pieces become clearer. But as you said, it's a pretty powerful ability to have.
Yeah, no
Certainly,
doubt.
certainly makes my life easier when it comes to issuing judgment.
Speaking of judgment, you got some pretty heavy shit going on for Forlorn, I see.
Yeah, he's fucked up a lot to the point where I can't really. Well, I was never going to protect him, but let's say make perhaps a more reasonable punishment outside of chain him to a cross.
Hmm.
But he's done a lot of bad things in very quick succession, and frankly, I don't have sympathy for him. He's done, well, he contradicted himself to my face. And that's me being polite. I should say he lied to my face.
Oh, well, fuck him. Really. To be honest with you, I'm not really one for flashy punishments, or drawn out punishments, but I'm no Philodox, so I'm
Well,
not going to give you that opinion. But,
it's flashy as it appears. The reason the cross itself is out of the way is because I don't intend for it to be a public spectacle.
oh, okay.
But if people's actions are going to require me to be this harsh, then they're going to regret making it be so.
That's what punishment's supposed to be, right?
It's going to be 2 steps, yeah. The cross is just part 1. He'll most likely be satired,
Mm-hmm.
so he'll be a cub again as well.
Wow.
That's, of course, if he lives through the other part of his punishment, or any part of his punishment, really. There's a good chance he dies in both. The second part will be announced later down the line.
Hmm.
But when you break the litany, how many times over at this point, and he starts counting, 5, 6, and like within the span of 3
A
weeks.
month? Oh,
Yeah, that's a month, 3 weeks. And also piss off the Septotem by flagrantly breaking her ban numerous times. Yeah, you're gonna get fucked up.
oh, indeed.
Actually, Balian told me the traditional punishment is that they're crucified, scourged, rite of ostracism, and the jackdaw is applied to them, they're then beaten and exiled entirely.
Huh.
There isn't a second chance. Sometimes the Fierges just kill them to settle the debt.
Yeah, that's basically how I thought it was. Like I said, Kachina, that's how I thought it would happen with him, but I know he pissed off a lot of spirits. He made a lot of raw deals that apparently we didn't know about and pissed off a lot of spirits. And he basically just got silver through the brain. Quick and done with. Like it was even though it was his packmate and I was pissed, it was really hard to be at that point too, you know?
Hmm.
But
It was strange with William. I felt somewhat similarly when I had to ostracize him. And it was initially going to be much worse than it was.
mhm.
It seemed he'd taken a lesson on board before I'd even got there, though. Was very, very eager to fix his mistakes and actually did quite a good job in doing so. So it wasn't so bad. Also didn't have to. Also wasn't a Kachina situation. It wasn't nearly as severe.
No, but the maturity he showed and wanted to make himself accountable. That's what matters. Speaks a lot.
It's kind of funny. Forlorn's misdeeds actually helped him redeem himself.
What?
Didn't you hear? Forlorn used the rite of the questing stone to find out where Will was staying off set while he was ostracized and attacked him in a kinfolk's apartment in Glabro.
Oh, right.
And then he decided that the rite of ostracism comes into effect right now, so he doesn't have to answer his questions as to why he was just almost killed in the middle of the city. And I was already going to throttle him for that, and now I've just learned he's also broken the veil again.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the third time now that he's done this in the span of 3 weeks. This is what I'm not sure if he's trying to hit some sort of fucking quota or whatever, but at this point, it's just a case of putting cherries on top of the fucking cake. I mean, I don't know how we can make this punishment more severe for him other than just outright killing him. And if he makes one more mistake, that's what's going to happen. We will just scrap everything. Because at that point, it's clear this is no longer a mistake. This is intentional. And he's most likely a traitor.
Right.
Either that, or he's so remarkably incompetent that Darwin's law should start to apply at this point.
The thing about his actions too, it doesn't make the other medics look good.
That might be a contributing factor towards my anger. He reflects extremely poorly on people who already have a lot to lose or are already in a bad position, and he's fucking them over even more. Now, it's not necessarily his fault. Part of that is down to the fact that certain people do not necessarily treat men as well, but he's not helping, and he's making the situation worse. And as a menace, he should realize that. He seems conveniently ignorant when it matters, and very self-aware when it's not.
Which is the opposite of what it should be.
That's something I've taken into account because it's very questionable. It's almost like he's choosing when to know and when not to know things. But that will probably be happening tomorrow. I might actually have to put him on a leash or some crap to stop him from causing more trouble in the meantime. I haven't actually prevented him from going off set yet, but that might actually be something we have to do considering what I've heard recently. So,
Well, if you want me to keep an eye on him or basically guard him, so to speak, I won't mind helping you out if you need me in that capacity. I did it for Nicholas at one point. I do it for him as well.
I don't think it'll be necessary yet, but if that's what it comes to, I'll let you know. And I appreciate the help.
That's what I'm here for.
So much has happened recently that it's kind of been hard to keep track of everything. I actually thought things would calm down once we left the Amazon.
I'm kind of glad they didn't slow down. Probably would have fell into Hirano again, to be honest with you.
Shit. I'm just glad I got to kill a Kraken over there.
Huh?
I'm just glad I got to kill a Kraken over there.
Oh, right? Ah, fuck. I wanted to be there for that, too. I was so pissed off. But I'm glad you guys pulled through, and I heard you guys did really well, so... D is done. You guys get the glory. You guys come home. That's all that matters.
Glad to see Gerard standing his ground.
Yes. Him as king is quite interesting.
I'm amazed me and Balian haven't come to blows over that already.
Well, you're not really in the position to really fight anybody over anything.
I mean, that's kind of how I view it. Like, I'm not going to rub it in his face or anything, because why would I? Like, it's over. It's a case of, like, you know, the action has already occurred, and it's pretty obvious who came out on top. There's no reason to turn it into a larger issue. We should just do our jobs. Conflict's resolved. It's been resolved since before he came here, so... I'm sure he doesn't even want to be here, considering what happened to his dad.
But he is here. And to be honest with you, that concerned me. But, I mean, if you're that close to him, then I'm not going to worry about
it. We work well together. At least, I mean, we're able to function together just fine. I think we consider ourselves colleagues more than friends. But yeah, we make it work. It's kind of what I'm really concerned with right now. So things can get back to some semblance of normalcy. Once we deal with the chance, we're probably going to be focusing more on the city, getting my hands stuck in the police force finally.
Well, if you happen to face the chance, give him one for me.
I'll do so.
And he'll kind of turn around. He'll kind of like pause for a second, hit both his hands lay flat on the counter, and he just looks down, looks at his drink, and then kind of pretends it's alcohol, and then drinks the rest of it.
I don't really understand the nation's love for liquor. You don't even really get properly drunk anymore as a Gara anyway.
No, you don't. You gotta drink massive quantities of it, and then once you hit that point, you can just, like everything else, switch to the half werewolf form, Glabro, and then just let it burn off quickly. It's really a waste of money, but it tastes damn good, and it makes you kind of pretend that you waste away your problems.
I guess I'm just used to not drinking it. Wasn't old enough when I didn't change, and even when I did, I kind of took the mentality of, well, my old profession. So, oh well.
Not old enough. I'm not old enough. I can't go out to the liquor store and get anything. I'm 19.
What? Fuck, you're like a 26. You could probably easily fucking pass.
Probably, but then again, if I got a fake ID, you'd probably bring me in, and I don't want all that.
I wish I
You
could.
know, when I first got here to the Sept, I actually took the Cubs out, all of them, to buy me liquor. And a first change happened, so my luck. Olaf gave me a right stern talking to.
Oh, man. Olaf was actually the oldest girl on set, apart from Mother Larissa, probably.
Mm-hmm.
19, 20 somethings, and he's like in his fucking 30s. Just tired. If I ever get to the point where I can challenge for Adrian, I might actually just visit him.
I think you should. What? You're what, Foster now, right?
Hmm.
You can leave the Sept now and go. Who would stop it?
Balian would try.
Let him try. You earned it, as far as I'm concerned.
He'd wind up in a similar position to his dad, I think.
What, dead?
Yeah. He'd probably like swing a fucking clave at me, and then I'd just confiscate it like I did that other asshole.
Did you ever get that clave back at all?
No, I was a cub, so they decided that some other dickhead could have it, despite not having earned it at all. But I'll probably be gunning for one if I have a Hage, and I'll certainly earned it.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you'll be judge and executioner at that point.
Already an executioner. I think I told you about my Foster challenge.
Mm-hmm. The Black Fury that was blonde and you had to put her down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, my real victory there wasn't actually saving the Black Fury. I'd already decided she was going to die before I even got there.
Wow.
At least that was the implication. They didn't explicitly say that, but Philodox just said, yeah, you both are completely right, and we need to kill her, because of course we do. So they pretty much already made up their minds, probably days in advance. But, I mean, at least I prevented them from using it as, well, Sings of Justice from using it as precedent to kind of just, I don't know, fucking kill Metis at birth. He was obviously looking to use it to kill Metis.
Mm-hmm.
Because just Fianna things. Jesus. Like, that tribe would do so much better if it just dropped that issue. I don't even know why they have it as an issue. It just feels like they've taken it to its logical extreme because they could. I don't know that much about them, but there's not much in their culture that seems to suggest that they would go in that direction. It's like, I can see other tribes, like, I mean, fuck's sake, like, Silverfang culture makes more sense for it. And even Win, like, nowhere near that bad. Like, we're still dicks sometimes, but not that bad. Fucking hell. I mean, even Balian is like, yeah, don't kill 10 Point. even we haven't crossed the line that hard, and
no,
our culture actually has a reason why, even though it's not a good reason in my opinion. And there are other tribes which have similar reasons which are equally as bad, but actual reasons. Fianna don't. That's why when they're so metrolic about it.
Me neither. It's strange, but I've heard that they just believe that the Metis are just that much closer to the worm, so they just so firmly believe that they just kind of basically treat them as if they were the worm. I mean, that like instead of out, I mean, they just don't outright murder them because they break the litany, but still, like they might as well. They might as well just line them up and take them out.
I mean, that's basically what Banshee's pack uses 10.4 is basically fodder. It's remarkable she's actually been able to live through it. I mean, God, I don't even know where to start with 10 point. It's just not another Talatiheen situation. She's obviously gone through decades of indoctrination. Like, it's not a case of actually just like helping her or like showing that there are people who care and that she can do things she couldn't normally do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a case of literally deprogramming a victim of like a cult-like relationship. It's you're literally having to unindoctrinate someone. It's like I'm not. I shouldn't fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. The parallels to fascism are fucking unnerving. Like,
Wow.
it's. I mean, that's. I mean, I really shouldn't be surprised. I have to say that at all because I've seen almost as bad elsewhere. But I mean, we're at that point. Like, they've indoctrinated her over 20 years to believe she is literally trash and fodder and a punching bag to be abused. And that's just reflects extremely poorly on the fucking nation. But yeah, why would people like us when we do that shit?
Yep.
I mean, not that most people even know about that, but still, it's like, fuck. There aren't actually words for it.
Get offenders had something like that before. Practically half our tribe was wiped out because of it. Of course, I didn't tell you that though, because that's something we don't like to talk about.
Yeah. Every tribe has their like dirty secret. It's not something I really judge an individual for. Well, I should probably get going. Thanks for chat, man. I do appreciate it.
I was really worried how this was going to play out. I'm really glad that you didn't come like. I'm pretty sure you wanted to. I mean, I would.
Had
I'm
I
pretty sure.
come a day earlier, it would have probably been another Garrett situation.
Yeah. And Lord and God knows I didn't want to have to try to explain that to your beta or your alpha. And he'll walk up to Jacob and actually like hold out his hand to him and kind of look at him kind of in a, it sounds stupid, but kind of look at him like see what how he would take the gesture.
He'll shake his hand. That's what he's intending.
Well, once he does that, Eric will actually pull him out of the chair and kind of give him that grab him by the forearm type of hand gesture, and then like pull him in to like give him like a half hug.
Yeah, Jacob will accept that. Kind of surprised him a little bit, but he seems to get the message as quickly as you pull him in.
Yeah. And Eric will give him a few solid pats on the back and let him go, obviously, and then turn around, walk to the door, and open it for him. No one can ever say Eric did not have hospitality.
That's true. Nothing else seems like the Fiona will appreciate that much. I mean, This is where all the liquor is stored. So
That's the Fiona Castle.
yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't found it there. Or maybe they did, and I just haven't noticed.
That's probably why I avoid the place. I'll see you later, man.
Yeah, take care.
You too. Kind of wave, and then begin to walk down the stairs
Yep.
Off the cabin.
Eric will watch him leave for a few moments, and then he'll quietly close the door. And I think that's where we can end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Goodbye.